It's time for the podcast. Yeah, the podcast is starting.
What's a podcast?
It's all gonna be alright in the end. It's gonna be alright. And if you've got some worries, my dear little thighs, please rest your busy minds, because it's finally time for stories from now and then.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to Stories from Now and Then. My name is Captain Blunderface, and today we are in the craft room of the old library with Swiftina and Deprecatus, and we're making art.
I'm using paper scraps to make a diorama of stages and microphones. It's going very well.
Stages and microphones, that's very cool. And Deprecatus is over there doing a portrait of all three of us. Oh, he's done. Let's have a look. Deprecatus, why is Swiftina so tall in this picture? And why am I so short?
Oh, I love it. He really captured me.
Why am I tiny in this? Is that little thing actually me? I'm way taller than Swiftina in real life.
You are not. We're basically the same height.
We aren't even in the same height neighborhood.
We are not in the same height postal code because of how far up I am.
Deprecatus, can you just not draw me so small?
He said it's accurate to his vision.
We'll get back to Deprecatus' artistic vision. But before we start our true story about a real artist, we have a shout out for Soren and Molly. Soren is 5 and Molly is 2. Soren's hobbies are practicing his ninja moves, and Molly loves to build things and say, "Let's get to work." So Soren and Molly, today's story is for you. And with that, we would like to request a true story from Nicola. Please take it away.
You know, I've been feeling so artsy this week as well. I've been doing drawings and paintings, playing around with different colours. And it's so funny because the story this week is a very special story about a very special artist. An artist who sneaks through cities in the darkness, leaving pictures on walls that make people stop and think and smile and wonder. Are you ready? Let's begin. Once upon a time, well, the time is now, happening right this very moment, somewhere in the world. There is an artist called Banksy. But here's the strange and wonderful thing. Nobody really knows who Banksy is. Is Banksy a man or a woman? Tall or short? Young or old? Does Banksy have brown hair or red hair or no hair at all? Nobody knows. It's the greatest art mystery in the whole wide world. What we do know is this. Banksy makes pictures appear on walls in the middle of the night when everyone is sleeping, when the streets are empty and quiet. And these aren't just any pictures. Oh no, they're clever pictures, funny pictures, pictures that make you think about important things in new and surprising ways. The kind of art Banksy makes is called street art, or sometimes graffiti. It means painting on walls and buildings instead of on paper or canvas. Some people think it's wonderful. Some people think it's naughty. But almost everyone agrees Banksy's pictures make the world more interesting. Let's go back to when it all began, at least as far as we know. Long ago, in the 1990s, which isn't that long ago, in a city called Bristol in England, there was a young person who loved to draw and paint. This person looked at the grey walls of the city and thought, "These walls are so boring and plain. What if I could make them tell stories? What if I could make them speak? Now, in those days, if you wanted to paint big pictures on walls, you had to work very, very quickly. The police didn't like people painting on walls, even if the pictures were beautiful, so street artists had to be fast as foxes. Most street artists used spray paint cans to make their pictures. But spray painting is slow when you're trying to make something detailed and clever. You might get caught before you finished. So the young artist called Banksy discovered something clever. They learned to use stencils. Do you know what a stencil is? It's a piece of card or paper with shapes cut out of it. You can hold the stencil against a wall, spray paint over it, psh, psh, and when you pull the stencil away, there's your picture. With stencils, Banksy could create detailed pictures in just a few minutes. So pictures started appearing on walls in Bristol. A rat wearing a crown. A policeman with flowers instead of bullets. Each picture told a story without using any words at all. People would walk past these walls they'd seen 100 times before, and suddenly, there would be something new. Something to make them stop and look and think. Who made this? They would wonder. Where did it come from? They would ask. But Banksy never told. Banksy stayed secret and silent and mysterious. And then the pictures began to spread. Not just in Bristol, but in other cities too. London, the great big capital city, started seeing Banksy's art appear on its walls. Then other countries, in America, France, Australia, the Middle East, all around the world, Banksy's pictures would suddenly appear, like flowers blooming overnight. Each picture had a message. Some were funny, making people laugh at silly things. Some were serious, making people think about wars and poverty and unfairness. Some were simply beautiful, bringing colour and joy to grey city walls. One picture is of rats doing human things, holding signs, wearing clothes, working together. Why rats? People wondered. Because, some said, rats are clever survivors, living in cities alongside humans, often unseen and ignored, just like street artists. Another picture is of a maid who's lifting up the corner of a wall like it's a curtain, sweeping dirt underneath it, as if the whole wall is just pretending to be clean. And, the picture that's maybe the most famous of all, a little girl reaching up, up, up toward a red, heart-shaped balloon that's floating away. So simple, so sweet, but it makes everyone who sees it feel something tender in their heart. People began to notice something else about Banksy's pictures. They often appeared in places that needed beauty most. On broken walls in poor neighbourhoods, in cities torn by conflict, in places where people had forgotten to look for beauty. Banksy seemed to be saying, art shouldn't only be in fancy galleries where you have to pay to see it. Art should be for everyone, right there on the street where you walk every day. But here's where the story gets even more interesting. Because Banksy stayed anonymous, that's a big word, but it just means keeping your name and your face a secret. All sorts